بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So, continuing on the قاعدة أصالة الصحة, the principle of validity, أصالة الصحة, الصحة. This, we studied the evidences. Do you remember what we said about the evidences?
They were not sufficient yet?
The author was not very satisfied with the verbal ones, which is the ayat and the riwayat. The verses of the Quran and the hadith, he was not very sufficient. Why? What did he say about them? He said they are too broad. Too broad, exactly. They are too broad. They say, treat his actions at its best. But he never said, treat them as they are correct. There is a difference between being correct and being good. Does not necessarily being good does not necessarily mean he's correct. Give him the benefit of the doubt. So not necessarily to be correct. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Okay? So the evidence there, was it verbal or was it rational? The evidence that he used to support this maxim, was it verbal, lafzi, or was it lubbi? Lubbi means ulul albab, ulul albab, those who have reason. Or was it rational? Which one?
Rational.
Exactly. The one he chose. Though others, they say, no, the evidence is verbal and we can use them. But he said, no, I'm not satisfied with the verbal. We are speaking about the maximum of validity and the evidences. We studied them last week. And we said our author, the scholar, he said these evidences are too broad. We cannot use them as solid evidence. So he chose, what did he choose? He did not choose the verbal one. He said, if I'm going to choose an evidence, I'm going to choose which one? The aqli. What was it? Do you remember? What did we call it? Siratul mutasharri'ah or uqala. Sira, the tradition or the conduct of the observing people or the rational people. Which was what? What was it? Can you brief me on it? Say it very simple.
They didn't correct anybody. They came across a situation and they were silent on it. They didn't say anything.
No, actually exactly the opposite. Siratul mutasharra'a, the conduct of the observance, means that from the time of the imams, not something new. It means when they regarded the actions and the deeds of the people as being what? Correct or incorrect? Correct. They did not question them. Unless otherwise, unless they have an evidence, ilm, that he did not do a good job. Otherwise, they treat it as what? Sahih, correct. So he accepted that one as an evidence. So his evidence were not verbal, it was rational. It was not lafzi, it was lubbi. Are you with me? If you are not with me, let me know. I can repeat this many times. Ay wa'azi. Because the ayat which we put here, he said the ayah is too broad. And the hadith is also too broad. The hadith is saying, treat the deeds of your friend at its best. But it did not say at it being correct. And there is a difference between being best or being correct. There is a difference. It means give them the benefit of the doubt. But I'm not saying necessarily everything they do is correct. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you treat it as being good. This is the difference. So he chose this one. He chose this evidence, the rational evidence, not the verbal. Are you with me, my friend? This is important, huh? This is how we study how things are being legislated. Which evidence they use, which one is a solid evidence and which one is not solid. We have to pay attention to these differences. Now, my friends, there is another maxim that we did not study. Not yet. We might study it in the future, which is similar to this maxim. This is the maxim of validity. That one is the maxim of what? The maxim of قاعدة الفراغ. قاعدة الفراغ. Faragh means you finished your work. You concluded your work. What does this maxim state? This maxim states, first of all, what does this one state? Can you remind me? You should memorize it now, by now. صحة, principle or maxim of validity. What does it mean?
Their actions, or you assume that everything is correct unless you have an ilm otherwise.
Whose action? Your action?
Others.
Others, exactly. Others, when they do ibadat or mu'amalat, we have to assume it is correct unless otherwise. Okay? We treat them as correct. We don't ask them every time about, oh, how did you do this? How did you? We don't. We assume they are right unless otherwise. What does this one state? Conclusion, the maxim of conclusion. It states that when you finish a work, religious work, and mostly the prayers, but some of them they extended it beyond prayers, beyond salat. The hadith was about prayers, but some of them they used it and they extended it to other things like fasting and hajj and umrah and this and that. It says that once you finish the job, and then you have doubt. Today, let's say you did Maghrib now. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Ali. You did the Maghrib. Dr. Ali, there is a maxim called the maxim of conclusion. قاعدة الفراغ. قاعدة الفراغ. Okay, what does it say? It says, if you finished your Maghrib, let's say you just did Maghrib, and then you said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And then you said, wait a minute, did I do ruku' in the second rak'ah? Did I do sujood? Did I do 2 rak'ah or 3 rak'ah? Sometimes you get confused. After the prayers, you get confused. So try to think, if you can find an answer, then work accordingly. If not, you are still confused. Let's say you did Isha. Sometimes you say, wow, this prayers was very fast. The one before took longer. So it must be not 4 rak'ah, it must be 3 or 2 rak'ah. But it's not because of that. You know why? Because in this prayers, you are thinking of something exciting. So the prayers ends immediately. Believe me. You are not focusing on the prayers. Your aql was somewhere else. So the prayers is over. Not because you did less rak'ah. So imagine, you just did Maghrib or Isha, then you say, did I do the ruku' or not? Did I do 2 rak'ah or 4 rak'ah or 3 rak'ah? As long as you finished, conclusion, faragh, then you say, no, I did 4 rak'ah. I don't even pay attention to this. Though the hadith, the evidence of this maxim is about prayers, but the ulama took it and applied it to where? To other aspects of ibadat, like wudu. Wudu. You did wudu, you finished. Wait a minute. And let's say it was very dry weather. In the dry weather, sunny weather, windy, sometimes you can realize, your hand is wet or not. But imagine, no, it was very dry weather. Did I do the left arm or not? After you finished wiping your feet, you finished. Say, yes, I did. Why? Because you have concluded. Once you conclude, you don't pay attention to the past. No more attention to the past.
Isn't that same thing as principle of validity?
Exactly. This is the question. There are two differences. Why I brought this one? To show you there are two differences, main differences between this and that. Difference number one, the principle of validity is exactly for the others. The principle of conclusion for yourself. What does that mean?
The other one is more universal.
It means the principle of validity, it applies for the others. It means when others do the action, you assume that they did it good and right, not you. It's about others. While this one, conclusion, when you finish the work, not others. When you finish the work, say my work is correct, if you have doubt about it. This is the difference. One difference. We have a second difference. In this, the second difference, in the validity, in the maxim of validity, and then we have the conclusion. In the maxim of conclusion, my friends, look at this, please, because this is sensitive. You say correct after you finish. After you finish the work, you say, I am correct. Because it's faragh. Once you're done with the prayers, and then you have doubt, say, no, my prayers is correct. I did 4 rak'ah, not 2. While this one, while they are doing it, you can say they are sahih. While they are doing it, in the middle of the work, of their work, not your work.
And also at the end, right?
And also at the end, both. So even if someone is doing his tawaf and he's in the middle of his tawaf, we assume he's right. He's doing it right. Someone who's doing salatul janazah over a dead body, he's in the second rak'ah, second takbir, not rak'ah. They don't call it rak'ah, takbir, because they don't have ruku. We say he's doing it right. While for this one, we wait until the end. At the end, after we finish, if we have doubt, then we assume it's right. So this is the difference between this one and that one. Two differences. Difference number one, in asalatul sahha, the principle of validity applies to others. But the principle of conclusion applies to me. I am the one who is doing the prayers, the tawaf, the wudu. So if I have shak, doubt, it's about me, not about others. Then I say my shak is invalid. I don't pay attention to it. The second difference is validity applies in the middle and the end to them. So in the middle of their work, I say their work is correct, and when they finish the work, I assume that they are correct. While the conclusion, qa'adatul faragh, is only when we finish the work.
So say a question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use the example like you said about Asha prayers. So you're doing Asha, and then in the middle of it, you do your 3rd rak'ah, and then you go, oh my God, is this the 3rd rak'ah or the 4th? Right in the middle of the salah. So based on this maxim, then you have to stand up and restart all over?
No. In this conclusion, if you are, let's say you are doing Isha, and then all of a sudden, is this my third or my fourth?
Right.
I say my fourth. But I have to do one rak'ah after I finish. One extra rak'ah. I say, I base it on being number 4. But after I conclude the salat, I have to do a supplement, one rak'ah. In case it was number 3, so I supplemented it. I completed it with one rak'ah. Not that I don't pay attention, see? I have to pay attention. I have to act upon that doubt. If I'm in the middle of the prayers, I don't say, oh, well, say it's third or it's fourth. No. Either third or fourth. So if you are between the third and fourth, take the higher. If you are between 2 and 3, take the higher. Say I'm in the third, but after the salat, do one more rak'ah.
Versus after you're done.
But if I am done, I said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, khalas. Even before I say Allah, because these 3 Allahu Akbars are mustahab. You don't have to say. By just saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, you conclude. Then I say, wait a minute, was this third or fourth? And I tried to remember, I couldn't. I say my prayers is sahih and
no extra rak'ah.
no extra. After you finish, no extra. But even if 1 second before you conclude, then they are still in the middle. You have time to repeat. Not to repeat, to offset. You don't repeat, you offset.
If you're in the doubt between third or fourth, you say 60% fourth, 40% third. I mean, one you think it's more.
Then follow the 60%, of course.
And no
If they are equal, no murajjih, no tarjih, nothing is more than the other, then if they are equal 100%, then you consider it to be the fourth. But if 60% is fourth, 40% is third, then you follow the 60%. Yeah?
It's not 100% yaqeen.
You don't have to have 100%. One of them is more than the other. In case of doubt, you have one thinking is more than one choice or one option is more than the other. So you follow the one which is more. Yes.
What does that say? Salat
صحة. Yeah. It's written قحة بس it's الصحة. صحيح صحة. Okay. All right. So these are the 2 differences between this principle and that principle. There are 2 main differences between them. Now, let me ask you 2 questions. Question number 1. Dr. Ali, we said if you have done your wudu, you finished your wudu, then after you finished your wudu, you say, did I wipe my head or not? And you can't remember. You really cannot remember because you were talking on the phone, let's say, or thinking of, something keeping you busy, your mind busy. You could not remember. What do you do in this case?
Well, if you finished it and you don't remember, then you go with Qa'adat al-Faragh.
So what do you say?
It's good. It's valid.
Exactly. Okay. If you finished, if you came to the class now and you want after the class to do your prayers and you don't know whether you did wudu or not, what do you say in this case?
No, then that case is because it's.
Or you left your office, your home,
Right.
going to the masjid.
Right.
When you reach the masjid, you say, wait a minute, did I do wudu or I didn't?
And you do it.
Why?
Um,
What's the difference between here when you said I did my wiping?
Because that one you concluded the act.
Mm.
And this one you.
Because this one you knew you'd concluded the act. You are still standing there.
Yeah.
You knew you did wudu, but you don't know whether part of the wudu is done or not. You have doubt about not the entire wudu. You have doubt about part of the wudu. Then you say it's correct. But now when you are on your way to the masjid, you are not having doubt about whether you wiped your head or washed your arm. You are having doubt about wudu itself. So if you have a doubt about wudu, what should you do?
Do it.
You should do wudu.
Yeah.
Okay?
But I thought the principle of istishab plays a factor here, that if you have
Exactly, Habibi. But where is istishab? Istishab, if you have yaqeen, certainty that you did the wudu, now you don't know whether you broke it or not. You know for sure, I did the wudu. I remember I did the wudu. On the sink, I was standing there. But whether after 2 hours I still have it or not, then here you say, inshallah, my wudu is valid. This is istishab. But when you don't know whether you did the wudu or not, this is not istishab anymore. Actually, this is istishab of not doing the wudu. Because you don't have certainty that you did it. Okay? It doesn't exist. When it does exist, and you have doubt whether it still exists or not, you say yes, this is istishab. But when it does not exist, you don't know whether you did it. You are not certain you did it. Then here you have to do it. Very delicate difference. This is one question. The second question. Does qa'idatul faragh mean I have to reach the point, say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah? Then if I have doubt, then I say no, it applies only there? Or it could apply while I'm praying. Let's say I have 4 units, 4 rak'ah. And then I am in the third one, and then I say, listen, did I do the ruku' of the second one or not? And I'm in the third rak'ah already. Let's say I went to the ruku' of the third rak'ah. While I was doing ruku' or within the ruku', I said, but did I do the ruku' of the second rak'ah or I skipped it by mistake? Listen, let me complete. Does this maxim apply to?
Yes.
How does it apply?
No, you have to continue for a fourth one and then do the, because you are in the middle. It doesn't apply.
no, but you
Unless
finish
you have
that
the-
rak'ah.
Applies
you
to
say
finish
it-
Oh, you mean
That
applying
is
on
done,
the
so
rak'ah
it's
itself?
concluded, it's done, yeah.
The
he's
segment can
saying
be
the-
segmented into different
No,
parts.
did you start the fourth one?
اختلف الفقهاء فقهاء
No, we're still talking.
Nadeem, what do you say? Tell me your opinion.
My opinion is
Mm.
you are still in the middle of the third
Okay, okay.
one. So do you have to then assume that okay, the way you have to resolve it that it's the third and then you continue the fourth and
This is
If
my
it-
question.
if
My
you start-
question, the conclusion, this maxim of conclusion, only applies when we finish the prayers and we have doubt and we say the prayers is done, complete, or no, it could be a segment of the prayer.
it could be a segment.
Exactly. So it does apply. You don't have to finish your prayers. You are in the third rak'ah.
But you are done with the third. You
I-
have to be done with the third, right?
I have to be done with the second.
Yeah, I said the doubt is on the second.
Exactly. And if I have done with the second, finished it, and then I'm in the third, and then I say, but did I do the ruku' of the second or not? Here, it does apply. Qa'idatul faragh, because you are done. You are done with the second. You passed it. You already passed it. You are in the third.
As opposed to if you were in the third rak'ah and you had a shak whether you did the third rak'ah ruku, then this doesn't apply, because you're still in the rak'ah.
Exactly. If you are still in the process, you stand, you do the ruku'. Even if you have done the sujood, even if you have not finished the second sujood, you can stand, do the ruku', go for sujood. Are you with me? Because you are still, the rak'ah has not completed. Still part of it is incomplete, so you reverse. You reverse. You go back, you do the ruku', and then do the sujood again. So this maxim applies when you totally finish the work And it also applies when you pass one segment, one part of the work, going to the second. So you are in the second and you have doubt about the first. Or you are in the third, you have doubt about the second. Or you are in the fourth, you have doubt about the first, second, or third. It has a special nickname. It's called tajawuz al-mawdi'. Tajawuz meaning passing or finishing. Passing, mawdi', the location. Al-mawdi'. The act. When you pass the act, when you pass it, then this one applies to it. The maximum conclusion applies to it. Any question before we go further?
So if you're doing tawaf at Hajj, you don't know if you finish the third one. You think you finished the third one. You're not sure if it's the third or
Hajj is
second or
different from
Hajj is
prayers.
Can you assume that you're
This faragh came specifically for the prayers.
for prayer?
However, we can use part of it for Hajj, not all of it.
Okay.
What do I mean by that? I mean, if you are done with the entire tawaf, 7 rounds, you did the entire tawaf. Now you are going to do salat al-tawaf. You say, listen, did I do number 5 right or number 6 right? Here you say yes. It applies. But while you are doing the tawaf, it's different than the prayers. The prayers, if you pass the second, the third, the second, the first, the second, the third, you don't worry about it. But in the tawaf, if you have shak, your tawaf you have to repeat
Okay.
all over again.
So no segmental there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So if, let's say, you did number 7, tawaf, and then you say, was this 6 or 7? If your wife is with you or someone who can tell you, you can depend on them, then you consult with them. Ask, did we do 7? They tell you, yes, 7, khalas. But no one is with you. Or your wife is like you. She's following blindly. She's not counting. In that case, you spoil the entire tawaf.
So you start from 1?
Exactly. You can't apply this maxim. Because there is a hadith. For every norm, there is an exception. Every qa'idah, every principle, every maxim has also some exceptions. Yes, they are general, but not too general. Sometimes they are restrained, these principles. When it comes to certain ibadat, they don't apply anymore. We will study how these maxims sometimes are interjected by other verdicts. They cripple them, they don't work. Other verdicts, they take precedence over these. They have a priority over these. We will study which verdicts they have hukuma. They call it hukuma. Governance or control. They have control over these. They cripple them. We will study these situations.
Do they cripple the maxim?
The maxim. It does not work in that case. Not that it does not work entirely. No. In that specific case, it doesn't work. It's like you doctors, you give antibiotics to the patients. But in certain cases, antibiotic does not work. You say this is a virus. It doesn't work here. I give you antibiotic, but it would not help you. Okay. And this one also has some exceptions. In certain areas, there is something more powerful than this. Because we have dalil khas. See, this is dalil am. We study this. The difference between the general evidence and specific evidence. Always a specific evidence takes control of the general, overrides the general evidence.
So didn't we also call the principle of validity a salat al-faraq also?
No.
Okay.
This one.
Okay.
Before you came, we said asalatu sahha is when we treat people's actions whether they are ibadat or mu'amalat, worshippings or dealings or contracts, we treat them at face value, we treat them as being correct, unless otherwise. And we will say how otherwise. What are these otherwise? We will mention them, 2 points right now. Qa'adatul faragh, it applies to me, not to others. When I finish the work
Right.
and I have doubt about it, then I treat it as being correct.
Now, as I remember, I thought from last year,
We did not study Qa'adatul faragh yet.
Asalati, they don't
Yeah.
call Asalat al-Faragh for.
Yeah, yeah. We studied Asalat al-Sahha, but not,
Sahha.
yeah. Okay, let's go to these otherwise that I said. When do you think, my friends, let's have some critical thoughts. When do you think that this one does not work? There is something more powerful that will limit the validity of this. It will make it invalid. So you can't think of the person, his act, being correct. In that case, you can't. What case? If he's a non-Muslim? What did we say about that? We said it applies to Muslims and non-Muslims. So, what case then? We can't use this anymore, unfortunately. We can't think that his or her work is correct anymore. What case?
We are certain.
Huh?
When we have certainty.
Certainty of what? Can you finish the sentence?
Of not correctness of non-validity of the action.
We're talking about the maxim, right? Afwan, we're talking about the maxim.
No, if you are certain of the invalidity, then you have ilm. Definitely this one does not apply. This is common sense. Let's say someone is doing wudu in the front of you, and let's say he's washing from down to up this way. I'm seeing he's incorrect. How can I assume he's correct? I'm seeing with my eyes. No, something else.
Is it when somebody's not trustworthy? Or you have shak about their integrity or their...
If they're insane?
No, you are close. Both of you are close, but I want you to say the correct term. Not majnoon. Majnoon rufi al-qalam. Majnoon is
Is irrational.
jahil.
Oh, ignorant?
If someone, we have knowledge, ilm, that this guy is jahil. Let's take the rules of inheritance. Someone is writing his will. Okay? Muslim, writing his will. But I know for sure, I have ilm, certainty, ilm, not doubt, ilm. 100% I am sure that this guy, he doesn't know anything about inheritance. He doesn't know, he does not know about the portion, how much the wife gets, how much the husband gets, how much children gets, how much parent. Nothing. Zero. He doesn't know. He doesn't know about hukm. Or he doesn't know about mawdu', the subject. What is the subject?
Inheritance.
Yeah. When we say the judgment, the hukm of inheritance and the mawdu' of inheritance, what do we mean? Please listen to me on this. My friends, we have two things. One of them is called hukm, the verdict. The second is called mawdu'. What is hukm? Is halal or haram? This is hukm. Huh? For instance, wine. What is the ruling of on wine? What is it? Huh? Unlawful, haram, and lawful, haram. What is the mawdu'?
Drinking or alcohol.
موضوع is this wine or apple cider? This is called موضوع. Is this subject that we are talking about, is it really wine or apple cider? Now, if you know the موضوع, the subject, that this is apple cider, then the hukm is going to be what? Lawful. If you know the subject that this is wine, you know the subject, you have knowledge of it, then it is what? It is unlawful. This is the difference between hukm and موضوع. Now we come to someone. He does not know anything about inheritance. He doesn't. He doesn't distinguish between a gift and inheritance. Hadiyah or hiba. Hiba means gift with no return. When you give something to, I give this to you as hiba. It means I don't charge you, free of charge. Hiba means free of charge.
My friend's wife is Hiba.
Her name is Hiba, so they gave her without mahar, alhamdulillah. Yeah. I say wahabtuka. Wahabtuka, this pen, this camera, this carpet, no charge, no return. He does not know what is inheritance. He hasn't read about it. If you tell him inheritance, he thinks inheritance is a gift. Sometimes he doesn't know about the subject. Like the wine. This guy, he doesn't know. He's jahil. And I know for sure. I know he's jahil. This guy, if he sees a bottle here, he doesn't distinguish whether this bottle is wine or apple cider. He will drink it. So in this case, should I assume that he's correct? No. Because I have knowledge he's going to mess up. Asalatul sah is when I have doubt. Not when I have ilm that he's doing something wrong. Okay? Not when I have knowledge and certainty that he's doing something wrong. Then I can't treat him as being, then I will be stupid. Because I treat people who are doing something wrong. Islam says treat them if you don't know. Not while you know, you still treat them as being correct. Okay? So this is one case. Or someone, he said, I saw the moon, the Eid moon. But he does not distinguish the subject. He cannot distinguish between moon and a Jupiter. Sometimes they look alike. He sees a star, he calls the star moon. I know this guy, he knows nothing about falak, about, So in this case, I can't take it from, I can't say he's sahih, he's a good guy, he's honest. I know he's honest, but he doesn't know the subject. He's zero when it comes to the subject. He can't distinguish between a star and a moon. I can't accept it from him. So in that case, the principle of validity is what?
Not valid.
It's not valid. Doesn't apply. Okay? Second. Where is the second case that this principle of validity is invalid? Actually, this is the only. The second case is whether is it my duty to go and investigate to see this guy knows the hukm and mawdu', or it's not my duty.
Can you repeat that? What was?
This is when I know he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know the subject, he doesn't know the ruling. Now if I come across someone, he's doing an act, either a transaction, worshipping, should I go and check on him to see he's alim or jahil? Or no, there is no need to check on him. What do you think? Should I make sure that he's aware of what he's doing? Or this is none of my business? I assume he's aware. In this case, I know he's not aware. I know, I have ilm. Not that I investigated. I didn't investigate. I know this guy. I know him very well. He's ignorant, completely ignorant.
There's no need, I think she should. The last time I said no need if he's Muslim.
Like let's say, in a restaurant, she's a waitress. She really does not know I'm a Muslim, and Muslims, they do not drink wine. So if she puts a cup, should I drink it because asalatu sahha? Islam said, treat it as correct. No, because she doesn't know. She haven't read this, she doesn't know about it. So here I have to be careful. Not everything liquid she puts. I have to ask. But in the second case, I don't know that they don't know. I don't know whether this person is alim or jahil. Sometimes I know he's jahil. I know he's jahil, so I don't treat him as correct. But if I don't know he is alim or jahil, he's aware or non-aware, should I investigate first, or should I go with this principle and I say, sahha, his work is correct?
I think there is two camps.
Two opinions?
Two opinions. We have them in this room.
You have to establish credibility
I say you go with,
You have to establish credibility of that person.
of that person.
I say you accept it.
Dr. Ali is very easy. If he becomes marja,
Yeah, everybody's off with their heads.
no. The
No,
following
actually,
day, the Christians, they become Muslims. Because he's very easygoing.
Everybody follows.
He gives concessions, Everything is halal, do it. In that case, they say, لا يجب التفحص. It's not upon you to investigate.
See?
You don't have to investigate in this case.
That doesn't seem to make rational sense.
No, see,
We said last time that he's a
because it's still, you go, why did we, let me ask you, why did they introduce, do you remember what we said? Why did they, exactly, because if you assume people are wrong, then your life is going to be miserable, then you can't leave your house. The same thing if you want to investigate, because many people you don't know them. 99% you don't, 99% of the people you don't know them. So if you want to investigate, again, you're going to bring to yourself what? Hardship and difficulty.
In some cases, you have to establish credibility.
Like what?
For example, Eid. You
No,
declare it's Eid.
listen. Eid, there are, as I said, there are rulings that overtake this, such as what? The Eid has to be, the moon has to be observed by two just witnesses, adil. They know what they are talking about. Not just adil. They have expertise in the moon. Not that they look at another planet and they consider it to be moon. They know what they are talking about and they are honest. Or the biha. The biha, you can't assume you walk into a shop that this guy, because Islam said his job is correct. No, he's a Christian. Or sometimes he's a Muslim, but living not in the Islam. Yes, in the Islamic market, treat him as correct. But he's non-Islamic market. Here you have to make sure. These are exceptions. But with others, yeah. With other cases, you treat it as being correct. Validity, valid. Their work, their conduct, their behavior, their transactions, their marriages, their purchases, their divorce, their inheritance, being correct.
Honestly, that's why I said this, because last week we talked about, you assume that the work and conduct, like worshiping a Muslim, is considered valid.
Exactly. Yeah. But then we have exceptions. We just gave an example of the moon. The moon, not any person, not any, at least minimum two who are trustworthy. Or if not two trustworthy, you can find a congregation. Many people said we saw the moon. Maybe among them are people who are not trustworthy, but they cannot lie. The number is in a way that some of them were in this area, some of them, they don't congregate and conspire to lie. There is no room for that. You know there is no room. They are not trustworthy, but also it's impossible for them to conspire. Then you accept. If it's a big Shia, it's called Shia, الشياع المفيد بين الناس. Shia, which is reasonable. Shia means common in use among people that I can depend on it.
You say, what I was thinking is if, in the terms of somebody giving a fatwa, it's somebody giving a fatwa, don't you have to go investigate and say, does this person even understand the mawdu?
Habibi, the fatwa, he has to be faqih.
Yeah, but that's my point. So you have to
Yeah.
assume the principle of validity.
No,
Somebody's
no,
telling
no.
you to do
So
something,
you are getting mixed up here. For the faqih, definitely you need to establish first that he's mujtahid. Okay? After you established he's mujtahid, then you don't go and question him every time. Then these rules apply to him. That things that he says are correct.
Correct. Yes.
Unless what?
He's jahil.
No, not he's jahil. He's wrong. Unless you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, right.
He's a mujtahid. Let's say he's a mujtahid. I know definitely he's mujtahid. He's honest. He doesn't lie. But he thought that he saw the moon. But it was not the moon. I know for sure, 100%, beyond doubt, that was Jupiter, not the moon.
Yeah, but they say we.
Then here I don't follow him. Or he thinks that he didn't see the moon, no one saw the moon, but I saw the moon myself. I don't follow him here. I don't tell him you are a liar. I tell him you are a mistaken. Maulana, you are mistaken. I saw the moon with my eyes.
Even if it's a marja,
Even if it's marja. If you see it with your eyes, you don't listen to anyone. To anyone.
Right.
And if you are correct, because sometimes people hallucinate. People are not normal, believe me, they hallucinate. They don't see clearly, they have, things with their eyes, with their vision. But if you know for sure that this was the moon, you saw it, not something else, and you are an expert. Sometimes people really, for the first time they see, but some of them they see it all the time. He knows where to search for it, and he saw it. Then if the entire maraja, all of them they say, tomorrow is not Eid, say thank you very much. I saw the moon, tomorrow is Eid. I saw it with my eyes. I can't follow you. لا أقتفي أثرا بعد عين. I'm not going to follow conjecture after I saw it with my eyes. Do you know what? When you saw it with certainty, then you don't follow the doubts anymore. You follow your certainty. You follow your ilm.
You got some people that, unless they see it, they don't count it. You know what I mean?
That is too much.
Yeah.
If others trustworthy see it, and they are trustworthy to them, trustworthy, reliable, they should follow them.
In that case, the Eid should always fall for everybody on the same day.
It should,
You know?
but because of politics. You know what divide us about the Eid is not whether the moon is there or not.
Politics.
It's politics. Politics. The moon is scientific. Moon is there. When one person see it, others they can see it.
Because it's not linked to taqleed or.
Exactly. Moon, this year, Ramadan, we could not see it in town. Some people went to Mount Wilson. Trustworthy. They saw it from above, from I think 10,000 feet, whatever, something like that, or 5,000 feet. Above the pollution. I went to Mount Wilson. Mount Wilson is above the pollution. They saw it. We could not see it because of the pollution, because it was extremely thin. Extremely thin. They saw it. Trustworthy. 5 people went there. They don't lie. When you know them, they don't. Why should they lie? Why? they want to destroy their faith, their siyam, they want to take up the big responsibility. They don't do that. Okay. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.